Where do you think we're at for left field? I know you mentioned Brian Reynolds before.
My theory is that Reynolds is still like the crown jewel. Like this is the guy that they want. He's the guy that, like, in an ideal world, they land him. But I think that as the days go on, it's more likely that he's not going to be a Yankee by opening day. I think that eventually there is still a chance for him to become one, especially at the trade deadline. We can revisit that. But Jurickson Profar seems to be like the main free agent that's left that the Yankees have looked like. I know Adam Duvall signed with the Red Sox,
Yep.
and Tommy Pham, who I never saw as a fit for the Yankees, signed with the Mets today. So, like all signs, if you're looking at free agents, point to Profar being that guy. They've liked him for a long time. Cashman's liked him for a long time. He had a sneaky, solid season last year, like I think 11% better per OPS plus than the regular player. And he's versatile, switch batter, can bat from both sides. He brings some speed and some just fun and excitement to the table. It makes sense. And if that's the case, then you have to clear some space on the 40 man, which would get me pretty excited because that probably means an Aaron Hicks or someone along those lines is getting moved. And I think that we can all agree at this point that it's time for Hicks to part ways with the Yankees or vice versa, just because it seems like that relationship is kind of run its course, to put it lightly.
Yeah, roster resource on Fangraphs is listening to Yankees fans right now because they have our shortstop as Oswald Peraza and our left fielder as Oswaldo Cabrera, who is not necessarily who we want in left field, Oswaldo, although we love him. But that puts IKF and Higgy. Sorry, Higgy is always going to be on the bench. IKF and Hicks, both on the bench. Interestingly, they have DJ on the bench. They have Glaber starting over him. We know that like DJ on the bench doesn't mean that DJ's on the bench.
Yeah,
Um, he might start out hurt. We'll see. Like I would slot him in opening day, third base.
I
I
was
don't.
gonna say the same thing. Like if DJ is fully healthy and he's looking good, like there's no reason that he should be a bench piece. Donaldson, on the other hand, has not proven anything with the bat at this point. So I think that he needs to earn the trust to be out there every day. Whereas DJ, at least when he is healthy, he was one of the best players on the team last year, up until that foot injury. So I doesn't make any sense for me to like bench him at this point, especially since he played pristine defense at third as well. So it's not like he's shaky over there. He held his own really well.
Yeah. Um, I want to get into a bit of an exercise, but before I do, I'll give my thoughts on the
Yeah.
left field situation. I think based on the rumors, obviously, I haven't heard any trades from the Pirates personally, so I don't know who they're asking for. But based on the rumors, I think Reynolds is valued too high right now. And I think that's smart business by the Pirates. They have so much control of him. They have him for this year, which is I think his third year of pre-arb on nine
Yes, it
million.
is.
Yeah, and I don't think he even qualified for Super 2, interestingly enough.
That's surprising.
Or is this his first year of real ARB that they bought out? I think it's
They
his first
bought
year of
out
real ARB.
they bought out 2 years, right? And
Bought out
then
2 years.
yeah,
So after at the end of 2023, he's contracted for 2 more years or 1 year. I think it's two more.
I think two more.
Yeah. So they have a lot of basically what I'm trying to say, they have a lot of control over Reynolds. I think the Pirates are right to hedge their bets, say we're not trading him unless we get this big deal. And I think they can hold out on their laurels for when it comes to late July. There's going to be 4 or 5 teams that are in it who are like, we can win the World Series, and probably 5 more that are like, I think that we can guarantee a playoff spot with an all-star outfielder
Yeah.
who would be willing to give that package away. And I think they're in their right mind. I think teams are in their right mind to not want to give up that much at the beginning of the season, and let it play out. I wouldn't mind the Yankees doing that per se. See how the prospects develop. See what Oswaldo does. I can't have Hicks be my left fielder. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think Profar works. I wouldn't want to give him more than a 1 year deal. Um, if we sign Profar and we trade for Reynolds, like I think that would be fine too. Profar is an outstanding defensively in left field. He does offer versatility, but he hasn't done that in a few years, and we don't need that from him anymore.
Yeah.
But he does grade out well with the bat. I mean, how many switch hitting left fielders can we have on one team? The Yankees are playing that game right now. If they sign Profar and they keep Oswaldo and they keep Hicks. No, Oswaldo's not a left fielder, which I kind of
Yeah,
want to get him out of that conversation anyway. That's why we want to sign one. So
he was bad there. Like he was not a
yeah.
good left fielder. He was great at right field. He was fantastic over there. He played it seamlessly. He played all of the infield positions seamlessly, even first base.
Mhm.
Left field is a different story altogether. You can tell he was just uncomfortable and taking weird routes, running into people. Like nothing looked natural.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not a professional athlete, but I grew up I'm a trained outfielder and I
Yeah,
played at Yankee Stadium before and it's huge. It's
man.
daunting and
Yeah,
it's huge. As someone who's really comfortable, like my position I'm most comfortable with is center field. I think I spoke about it last episode about how the
yeah,
reads are a bit truer. If you're adjusting to outfield life and one of your first venues that you're playing at is Yankee Stadium, who during the where during the day they have a killer sun coming over left field. You might remember Johnny Damon was wearing like his flip up sunglasses.
yeah. The visor glasses. Yep.
Yeah, because that would really kill him. And then even at night, or those mid afternoon games where in the DS where he and Hicks collided, that was like an awkward sun angle. Like I was there. It was a weird time for a game at Yankee Stadium. I think that's really underrated, and you have to understand that even pro athletes can't adapt that well as much as we command it from him. So him being our 140 game left fielder, I don't see that as ideal.
One thing about Profar too is he has an elite strikeout percentage. I think he's at like 14 or 15%, something like that on last season, which is like well above average. I think the average strikeout rate was like 21, 22%, 23, something in that ballpark. So he's at least 6% lower than that, which, I mean, let's be real, the Yankees struck out a fuck ton against the Astros. Like, I think they had what, 52 strikeouts or something like that in the ALCS, which is just silly. So if you bring in one kind of bat like that that stabilizes everything a little bit, provides a little bit more protection for guys that are performing, like Judge and then Rizzo, and it just balances things out a lot more. So you're not just getting a feast or famine type of bat.
That's been Hicks's hole is that when he can't get it together, it's bad. He can't make contact. He's hitting really soft ground balls, like not hitting the ball. So then that on top of his walk rate being low, where his walk rate used to be like his most valuable asset, honestly,
Yeah,
aside from his elite level arm, which is no longer elite level, it's still good, but it's not 106. Um,
yeah. Did you
so
see what his Statcast numbers were for his army last season? Though they were like freaky good. I was
really,
like, he was like 96, I think 97th, 98th percentile for like he was in deep red for Baseball Savant.
yeah.
So like his arm is fully back at this point. It's just a matter of like it's not enough because he's not making good routes to the ball. He's dropping balls in the outfield. So it like you can tell there's a lack of focus there. So it cancels out any good that you're getting out of his arm.
If you only read Statcast and you only watched baseball in 2018 and 2019, the Yankees outfield of Judge, Hicks, and Gallo must have been you must have been salivating over that.
Until
But
you see the Blues with K rate and stuff like that.
we ignore those numbers. And the
Oh yeah.
Yankees did for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see where we get with left field.